Morning, all. All right, so we got 9 games in the NHL tonight, which isn't too bad for a Thursday. Again, April's a very busy month. So, with April being crazy busy and all of that, we've got 9 games tonight, which it's not too bad. 5 games starting at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern, starting with the New Jersey Devils and the Boston Bruins. Boston's won 2 meetings so far this year. This is the third and final meeting. On November 13th, Boston wins 5-2. On January 4th, Boston wins 5-3. So for the New Jersey Devils, they're 24-37-5 overall. Last 10 games, they're 4-6. They did win their last game. Away from home, they're 8-23-2. They are 6 points behind Buffalo, who are having a very good run. They're tied with Philadelphia, and they're 1 point ahead of the Ottawa Senators. So it's a chance for New Jersey to potentially move up a little bit in the standings. Boston 41-20-5 is their overall record. Last 10 games are 7-2-1. They lost that last game, of course, against Toronto. We'll see how much that costs them when it comes to playoff positioning from here on going forward. At home, they're 20-11-2. They're 2 points behind the Leafs due to that loss, and they're 3 points ahead of the Capitals in the number 1 wildcard spot. At 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific as well, we get the Winnipeg Jets and the Toronto Maple Leafs. December 5th, these teams met in Winnipeg. The Jets won that one 6-3. So this should be an interesting little rematch. For Winnipeg, 33-25-10 and desperately trying to get into a playoff spot. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They've won 3 in a row. Away from home, they're now 14-12-8 with the win last night. They're 2 points behind Vegas and 1 point behind Dallas. I will say this, if they get off to a really slow start against Toronto the way they did against Buffalo last night, this may not go well for them. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 42-19-5. Their last 10 games are 6-3-1. They've won 2 in a row. At home, they're 24-7-2. They're 1 point behind Tampa. They are 2 points ahead of Boston. And Jake Muzzin's almost back. Jake Muzzin may be back in this one. What I was reading this morning, it sounds like it's possible. At the very least, he's a full participant in practice. He's not far off if he's not ready to come back tonight. So for the Leafs, looks like no Lyubushkin. Hall will be in the lineup. Muzzin's a possibility, but not likely in what I was seeing of the line combinations and rushes from this morning. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Chicago Blackhawks in against the Florida Panthers. These teams met in Chicago on February 20th. Florida won that matchup 5-2. On the Chicago side, they're 24-33-10 overall. Last 10 games, they're 4-4-2. They did lose their last game. Away from home, they're 13-16-5. They're 7 points behind the Anaheim Ducks. On the Florida side, they're 45-15-6. Over their last 10 games, they're 7-2-1. They won their last game against Montreal. At home, they're 27-6-0, so very good at home. They're 6 points ahead of the Tampa Bay Lightning, 7 points ahead of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So with a cushion like that, I wouldn't be surprised if they lose a couple games here and there. But anyways, we'll see. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific as well. Columbus and the New York Islanders meet for the final time this season as well. October 21st, Columbus wins this one in overtime, 3-2. On March 10th, the Islanders, 6-0 winners, thus the no mercy sticker there, because it's 5 goal difference or greater. March 29th, of course, the Islanders won 4-3, so Columbus now will try to go into New York and do the same thing to them that New York did to them. On the Columbus side, they're 32-30-5, 4-4-2 in their last 10. They did lose their last game, as I said. Away from home, they're 14-16-2. They're 2 points ahead of the Islanders and 8 points ahead of Detroit. So, if you can hear it, there's paper ripping because there's wrapping paper that Jet's gotten into, and she just seems so happy. So, apologies. Anyways, the Islanders 29-27-9. Who's not happy ripping up and eating paper? Last 10 games, they're 6-3-1. The New York Islanders are winning their last game. At home, they're 17-13-4. They're 2 points behind Columbus. They're 6 points ahead of Detroit. Oh, and she ran by me because I'm understanding. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. It's no fun to do something if Dad doesn't get mad at you for it. So for Montreal and Carolina, these teams have met twice as the third and final meeting. Carolina's already won both games so far. 4-1 on October 21st, and on December 30th, 4-0. So Carolina's outscored them 8-1 so far, and this one's in Carolina. So Montreal's 18-38-11. Last 10 games, they're 3-3-4. They lost their last game. Away from home, they're 8-19-7. They're 5 points behind Ottawa in last place in the East. The Carolina Hurricanes, 44-15-8 overall. Last 10 games, they're 4-3-3. They lost their last game in overtime, that, of course, being against the Tampa Bay Lightning. At home, they're 24-5-4. Excellent home record. 3 points ahead of the New York Rangers, 6 points ahead of the Pittsburgh Penguins. So this is an important one because the Rangers are clearly making inroads, and Pittsburgh's been playing pretty well for the most part too. So really, Carolina's been first for quite a while in that division. They have to try to maintain that. So 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, we got the Pittsburgh Penguins in against the Minnesota Wild. November 6th, these teams met in Pittsburgh. That was a 5-4 shootout win for Minnesota. Minnesota wants to sweep the season. Pittsburgh looking for, the evening up of the season series. I just wanted an excuse to wear my new Pittsburgh jersey, so I've got it. 40-18-10 is the record for Pittsburgh. Last 10 games, they're 6-3-1. They did lose their last game. Away from home, they're 21-8-5. 3 points behind the New York Rangers. Not Pittsburgh, New York Rangers. I'll just change that. I'll even use a different color. 3 points behind the New York Rangers and 6 points ahead of the Washington Capitals, who are, of course, the number 2 wildcard. Minnesota's 41-20-4 overall. Last 10 games are 8-1-1. They won 7 in a row, so I'm just thinking 7. Pittsburgh probably goes, maybe ends that. 24-7-3 is the record for Minnesota at home. They're 3 points ahead of St. Louis. They're 4 points ahead of Nashville, so they're solidly entrenched in second place in the division. 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific start time between the San Jose Sharks and the Colorado Avalanche. On November 13th, Colorado wins 6-2. On March 18th, Colorado won 5-3, so they have beaten San Jose both times. They're trying to get the season sweep. For San Jose, they're 29-29-8, coming off of a loss against Arizona last night. Last 10 games, they're 5-4-1. They did lose that last game. Away from home, they're 13-15-4. They are 1 point ahead of the Anaheim Ducks at this stage. On the Colorado side, they're 47-14-6. Their last 10 games, they're 6-3-1. They won their last game over Calgary. At home, they're 26-4-3, and they're 14 points clear of Minnesota atop the division. Also at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, the Calgary Flames and the LA Kings meet for the second out of 3 meetings this year. On December 2nd, Calgary won 3-2. The third and final meeting between these teams will be on April 4th, so that's this week as well. The LA Kings, 36-23-10. Overall, 36-23-10. Last 10 games, 4-4-2. They lost their last game last night in Edmonton in extra time. Away from home, they're 18-9-6. They're 6 points behind Calgary, and due to that shootout loss last night against the Oilers, they're only 1 point clear of Edmonton. For Calgary, they're 40-18-8. Last 10 games, they're 6-3-1. They lost their last game in regulation. At home, they're 21-7-6. They're 6 points clear of LA, 7 points clear of Edmonton. So still an excellent chance they end up finishing atop the division, but we shall see. LA's trying to carve into that lead tonight. Then at 10 Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, the Dallas Stars and the Anaheim Ducks meet for the second out of 2 games between one another in Anaheim. The Dallas Stars won the first one on the 29th by a score of 3-2. They'll be looking to win again tonight. And then the third meeting between these teams rounds out the season on April 29th. For Dallas, 37-25-3 is their record. Over their last 10, they are 5-5. They did win their last game again in Anaheim. And for the Dallas Stars, they need to make sure that they're keeping pace. Vegas wins last night. Vegas has now won 3 in a row. They're starting to get it together. Dallas has to make sure they're keeping pace with that, or they do run the risk of maybe falling out of the playoffs. 16-16-2 is their away record. They are currently 1 point below the playoff line, so again, they need these wins. 1 point behind Vegas, 1 point ahead of Winnipeg, 4 points ahead of Vancouver, who seem to have faded out of hope for a playoff spot at this point. I only say that because for Vancouver to get in, they'd have to pass Winnipeg, Dallas, and Vegas. So the odds of that are pretty slim right now. Anaheim, 27-30-11 is the record over their last 10. They're 0-8-2. They've lost their last 5 in regulation. 16-15-4 at home. They're 1 point behind the San Jose Sharks. They are 7 points clear of the Chicago Blackhawks. So we'll see how things turn out tonight. Let me know your winners in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. Just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.